Alright, welcome back. And today's video is going to be a longer one, so strap in. First of all, yesterday's game. Let's have a look. So we went down one goal at the 12th minute, and then we equalized 49 seconds later, and then we could not convert the power play, and then we scored just 2.5 minutes into the second period. We scored 2-1. Another few minutes, and then we scored 3-1, and then another 5 minutes, and we scored 4-1. And then we had two hooking and tripping calls there by the same player, and we managed to keep the puck out of the net in those PKs, and then we played a solid third period where we were just defending the lead the last 10 minutes. They really had no push the last 10 minutes. It was never close. After we went up to 4-1, about halfway into the game, it was done. But as a Malmö fan, you always know that the 3-goal lead. We've lost 3-goal leads. I don't know how many times this year. So I think all Malmö fans were still on edge for the rest of the game, but it was good to see that we could close this one out. And a solid 3 points. Now, this was the lineup. Notably, we had Ivarsson back from sickness and Mattias Lassen back from injury. And Mattias Lassen especially was really solid this game. He was a difference maker defensively. And then you can see, as you can see here, they have mumbo jumboed the lines a little bit. So Carl Persson is back with Lauri Pajuniemi and Janne Kokkanen. Emil Forslund, who is the loanee from Tingsryd. He was playing in the second line with Fredrik Hendermark and Johan Olofsson. Johan Olofsson normally plays at the fourth line, but he's been playing in the top six. Tommy Sailinen, left winger, with Kristoffer Forsberg and Kim Grosdahl, a completely new line. Thomas Berg Paulsen with William von Barnekow and Albert Sjöberg. I really like this line, to be honest. This youth fourth line was actually really solid. They didn't produce anything, but they were really good. They were like in the game, you could tell that they were doing the right things. They were, keeping it even, which is all you want from a fourth line. Really, you don't really expect them to produce. You just want them to be solid defensively. So yeah, and Dominik Badinka again. He got quite a bit of time. He played 18 minutes last night. He did okay. He didn't do terribly. There were the very experienced Joachim Ryan was absolutely terrible yesterday. And then we had, despite my disappointment with him on their one goal. Marcus Lauritsen actually produced a goal, and he was +2. So, all in all, he had a very good performance. He was the best player on the ice for Malmö, according to the game score. Emil Forslund, the loanee, was the second best. Fredrik Hendermark was the third best. So, 2 of 3 are leading players that we expect to produce a little bit. Janne Kokkanen didn't have he had a second assist. He looked like he tried but couldn't really get anything going. Lauri Pajuniemi did score, which was good to see. So, but yeah. Overall, a very solid performance. As you can see, Mattias Lassen, he did have a first assist as well, and a +2 and a +-. So he was really good in his comeback. But yeah, right. And then we have to discuss this decision from Disciplinnämnden. I don't know how to translate that. Basically, it's It's people that sits and watches the game, and if they see something, they put it forth to a disciplinary place, and then they decide if there's there needs to be a suspension, yada yada yada. We're gonna watch this and we're gonna. I have translated the text, so let's see. I'm just gonna bring this up here. So their description of the situation is: when it's 16:44 remaining of the first period, a checking to the head happens on Malmö's offensive blue line by Malmö player number 17, Johan Ivarsson. Timrå player number 27, Oliver Johansson, gets the puck after a face-off in his defensive zone. Johansson is pressed from behind by a Malmö player, and Ivarsson then cuts in and checks Johansson in the head with his left shoulder in an upwards trajectory. Right. The thing about this is that it's not called on the ice. It was not noticed by any other referees. It was not noticed by the commentator. The TV broadcast guy didn't notice, didn't comment on it. And Timrå didn't complain at all about it either, that it wasn't called. So it's very interesting how this becomes a suspension, but we'll watch it together, and So this is from the. If you go here, you can see the full decision here, and this is Johan Ivarsson's own comment. Okay, I tried to stand up on the blue line to keep the pressure in the offensive zone. The opponent is looking down and has a low position. When I see this, I try to keep my arm close to my body. Unfortunately, I don't have anywhere to go. Thankfully, the opponent plays the rest of the game. It was not a situation which either myself or others in the game reacted to then and there. So this is a non-situation. This should not be a 3-game suspension. So the way it works is 3 games means that it's 2-game suspension plus a fine. So 1 game is converted to a fine. The fine is 11,250 krona. We're gonna watch.
Man var ju uppe och nosade på topp 6-placeringar.
Do you see that? The linesman is right there. It looks like a collision to me. It looks like a collision. It's not even a check. It's not even a true check. Yeah, that should not be a suspension. Yeah, the check is in the chest, bro. The check is right into the chest. Yes, his head doesn't even move backwards. Do you notice that? His head doesn't even move backwards. If it was a check into the head, his head would have moved backwards. It doesn't even move backwards. No, this should not be a suspension. Absolute farce. Absolute clowns is what they are. This was not called by any of the main referees nor the linesmen. The linesmen, all 4 referees, okay? All 4 referees have little things in their ear. They're talking constantly. This is old tech. This is nothing new. They're constantly talking to each other about things that happen on the ice in the game. If the linesman is right there and sees this hit, he can easily be like, "Hey, that's a penalty," and immediately one of the 2 main referees will have a hand up, and it can be a 5, it can be a 2, whatever. They would probably it would be a 5, and then they would indicate a 5, and then it would be a video review of it. There's no call on the ice at all. Timrå does not notice it. Does not do any fuss about it. Nobody notices this situation. Okay? We'll see from this angle. So we'll lose the puck. Puck goes between the legs. Yeah, no, that's not. That is not a checking to the head, bro. Even from these angles, there's no checking to the head. It's in the chest. It's a good check. It's a very good check, in fact. I don't understand this. I do not understand this. Well, there you go. And then what else do we have? We have something else I want to talk about, which is the one of the main newspapers, Aftonbladet. They had a Christmas analysis that they released yesterday. They released it before the game, so do note that. But still, and the original article is locked behind a paywall, so I can't really show you. I can't show you the original article, but I can sort of paraphrase what's being said, right? So they're saying they have 4 different sections, and they're talking about how the Finnish recruitments have been successful, and especially the first-line centerman Janne Kokanen has been impressive and been one of the best players in the league. And he's currently also on points. He's one of the best in the league as well. And then they mention also Norwegian Thomas Berg Poulsen. And they mention Timothy Kivihalme as well. And the interesting part is Timothy Kivihalme is only Finnish by name. He is American. He's grown up in Minnesota. He doesn't speak Finnish. So right away you notice, okay, this guy does not... whoever wrote this, I don't even recognize the journalist's name. Whoever wrote this does not know what he... truly have not done the research, okay? They also mentioned Thomas Berg Poulsen, who has produced, and he's been very good actually compared to the expectations set before the season. Absolutely, and his contract was extended this fall as well. And also they just literally a four-word sentence. It mentions William von Bonnekow. Actually, I think von Bonnekow have been very impressive. He's been very solid in both ends of the ice. He's been producing goals when he's been at the top line. He's been responsible defensively when he's been a centerman in the third line, and now he's a centerman in the fourth line. And if we look at his okay, fine, he's -1, but he doesn't play a whole lot, and he is in that fourth line. So it's not a huge thing to be be -1 in a fourth line, to be honest. And it's particularly because it's a new line as well. And again, yeah, he's been over the season. He's been good. And then biggest disappointments, and here I'm a little bit confused. They mentioned Lucas Wernbloom, and how it didn't work out, and how it started, and goalless season last year, and yada yada yada. The whole 9 yards. And that he left for a Finnish team, TPS Åbo, already after 11 games. But no mention of Alan Quine, right? No mention of Albert Sjöberg. I'm not saying that I expected Albert Sjöberg to instantly produce, but he hasn't done much of anything, really. So they should at least be mentioned. Alan Quine comes in, 30 years old, loads of experience from the AHL, and actually has produced in the NHL as well a little bit. Yeah, has been pretty bad, honestly. He was okay in the beginning, but he's been very, very uneven, very, very up and down. Flashes of brilliance, but mostly disappointment, I would say. And now he injured himself on the Monday practice as well, so Don't know how long he's going to be out, but he's been a defensive liability, so maybe that was part of the reason why we won yesterday. Not trying to be mean, just trying to be objective here. Trying to be analytic here. He's been a defensive liability, and Lassen comes in and it was absolutely as solid as a defenseman can be around his own net. So, two different positions, I know, but still, it does have an impact. All 5 players on the ice have an impact on the defense, and subsequently also the offense. Right, so new players coming in. And then they say that according to Malmö, they have the lowest player budget in the SHL. Yeah, I would expect so because of the financial situation. And because we brought in Nuti Vitasalo and Tommy Sailinen, there's not much space left in the budget. And they also mentioned that Malmö will be loaning players from Tingsryd during the Junior World Championship, and that there should be not much else expected. And this is true, this is what's likely, but as yesterday's game proved, it doesn't have to be a bad thing to give people a chance from Tingsryd to play at this level and show us what they can do, and that way get an SHL job in the future, right? And the last section here is prognosis. So what does the rest of the season look like for Malmö? And here he absolutely fumbles the ball, right? In my opinion. Of course, this is all my opinion. This is not an attack to whoever wrote this. I do not know this person. I can only read what I'm reading and react to it. That's what I'm doing. So the prognosis is that after a strong start, Malmö has fallen in the standings, and after just one victory, and this victory was after overtime, in the last 8 games, they have just 1 point down to the qualification spots. Well, this is all true. Okay. Continuing. The injuries on defensemen Teemu Kivihalme and Mattias Lassen are strong contributors to why Malmö has fallen like a rock. This is what I disagree with. Most things point to that they land where most people thought they would land before the season started, in the qualification spot. Now, here's where I disagree. Okay, first of all, we will have Mattias Lassen has come back. Huge difference maker yesterday, arguably, in my opinion. I thought he was really, really good defensively. Secondly, Teemu Kivihalme will come back. He's expected to come back. The latest news we have on him is that he is expected to come back after the 4th international break, and that is in the mid-February. Okay, so that means there's 12 games left of the season. 12 games left of the season after the February international break, where we will hopefully have Kivihalme back. Okay. So the way I see it is we started a good trend yesterday. We'll have a bit of a break over Christmas, and then we'll come back on the 26th and the 28th of December for 2 games here between Christmas and New Year's, and then we start 2024 off with a bang. Generally speaking, Malmö is always much better. Like even last year when it was a disaster season, we were so much better. We were a top half team last year after Christmas. Okay? Take that into consideration. This should have been part of the research that this writer did, is that, hey, Malmö has a trend over several years, actually, that they are so much better after Christmas. Okay? That should have been taken into consideration here. So no, I disagree that that everything points to that we will be in the qualification spots. No. In fact, I would argue HV71, after the big loss yesterday, they lost 6-1 or something like that. I don't know exactly. 6-1, 6-2. I don't care, really. I don't care. HV71 looks more like a qualification team than Malmö does. Just saying. And there's Rögle. Rögle might not have the success after changing both their GM and their coach. I don't think that's going to necessarily save them. They will also be involved in that fight. And they had high expectations because they've been a top team recently. So, yeah, there's a lot more than meets the eye here. So if you would only go by this text, this is misleading, in my opinion. So Matthias Lassen is back. Teemu Kivihalme will be back when there's 12 games left of the season, and we always have a win streak at the end of the seasons. So I think we look solid enough for a playoff spot. That's what I think. I think 10th, 9th, somewhere around there. Mid-table team is what we are, and I've said that from the start. And that's what I'm going with. We're 9th, 10th, maybe closer to top 6 even if we can get more points than we're expected to. Like if we have a disrupt, like let's say we take points from teams. There were an interesting if we go to SHL, they had an interesting thing. So let's actually go to my feed. I'll just show you. So they had an interesting thing here where so mind you, this is before the Timrå game. So now we have 3 out of 9 points versus Timrå. But let's say we take points from Linköping and Skellefteå. Let's say we start taking 3-pointers from Modo. Let's say we win Rögle away in a week's time, right? Like there's plenty of teams that we can take points from. We've taken 4 out of 6 points from the league leaders. So, and I mean Linköping, they haven't really had a dip yet, so I would expect them to have a dip. Skellefteå seem to have a dip right now, so they should look like they're prone to lose a few points to us. But yeah, this is where my mind is going. Like, there's a whole lot of things that should go into this analysis, right? And I think that is all for this one. It's been 23 minutes, so I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you again soon. Bye for now.